For a while now, people have been afraid that artificial intelligence or AI would steal our jobs. Although that is a valid concern and completely justified in the cauldron of possibilities, there is something simmering much deeper in the pot: the way AI can obliterate intimacy from society. I'm talking about trust, advice, conversations, and even emotional labor. I say this because I've seen an increasing amount of people depend on AI, not only for productivity, but for connection, support, advice, and even comfort. This new codependent relationship, and yes, I say codependent because AI depends on us to help train its model, will soon make it more difficult to maintain or even yearn for human connection. Let me preface this by saying the AI we will mainly be focusing on will be generative artificial intelligence, or Gen AI, and not artificial general intelligence, AGI. Yes, there are different types of AI. The one we have, which is Gen AI, and the one we theorize to have in the future, which is AGI. You can think of Gen AI as the mimic. It takes all this information from sources such as people or the internet and outputs the best probable outcome. This AI doesn't think, feel, or understand. It simply pulls from its database of information and gives you what a human might say or do. An example of Gen AI would be the current chatbot ChatGPT. While AGI, which doesn't exist, could have the ability to take the information it knows, to learn in real time, and adapt to the situation given. It is meant not to mimic, but perform like a human. Think of AGI as Sunny from the 2004 movie iRobot, or Samantha from the 2013 movie Her. AI has been around since people started advancements in technology. It simply didn't have a name. Let's begin with a brief timeline of AI. The idea of machine learning and AI emerged around the late 1940s to early 1950s. We can begin with the imitation game, better known as the Turing test. This was a test that computer scientist Alan Turing created to assess how well machines can display human behavior. This test is done by having a human participant read two different texts, A and B. This human participant would have to differentiate which one is the human and which one is the computer. If they guess wrong, the computer will pass the test. This put the concept of AI into motion. It wasn't until the Dartmouth Conference in 1956 where this concept was labeled as artificial intelligence by John McCarthy. This conference turned the concept into a new field of study. Without this, we wouldn't have gone beyond the theory and built the systems we have today, such as digital assistants, chatbots, smart devices, and even the recommendations on your favorite streaming service. I'm choosing to stop the timeline here, because after a term was created for AI, a domino effect took place, and research into the subject expanded over the next decades. To some, this turning point made day-to-day activities easier and more productive, while to others, it made things more low effort and brought a sense of fear. I want to approach this split on robot-human relationships with the most recent film I've seen, Companion. This 2025 movie brings an interesting twist to the sci-fi trope of robot gone rogue. Now, if you haven't seen it, I suggest you watch it before continuing on this video, as there will be spoilers. When I first sat down to watch Companion, I wasn't aware of the plot, but as the story unfolded, I was caught off guard at its unsettling yet fascinating approach about humans and machines. Looking back at the opening scene, I definitely thought, what an adorable meet cute, as the character Iris continues her inner monologue of how monotonous life is and how lucky people can be to find moments that will bring clarity and purpose to it. She found this moment in the day she met her boyfriend Josh, and in the day she killed him. Best believe my fawning of the couple stopped right there as she uttered that line. This brought everything into one singular perspective. Iris is the antagonist. She killed someone and we know it from the very beginning. We just don't know why or how. Very similar to how we know AI does affect us negatively, but we don't fully understand why or how. As the story continues, we begin to see a picture being created. Iris is introduced to Josh's friends, Kat, Kat's lover Sergey, Eli, and Eli's boyfriend Patrick. Everyone seems to demonstrate the underlying disrespect and control they feel towards Iris, except for Eli and Patrick. Take for instance Kat and her situation with Sergey. She openly admits he uses her. In return for the trips and the spoils, she must do what he wants, wear what he wants, and acts how he wants. This is an exact mirror of Iris and Josh. However, instead of seeing her as a fellow victim of control, Kat instead sees her as competition. Her disrespectful nature towards Iris comes from insecurity and fear. She represents Group A, those who are scared of AI replacing them. Unlike Kat, who sees Iris as a threat, we have Eli and Patrick. Eli and Patrick include Iris in their conversations. They listen and speak to her directly and not around her. They treat Iris with dignity and demonstrate inclusion without being scared. Later on, it is revealed that Patrick is a companion like Iris, which shocked me since he was treated completely different from Iris. Why? Because Eli didn't feel entitled to his AI companion and instead embraced Patrick. They represent Group B, those who embrace AI. On the other hand, Josh has a sense of entitlement and control for Iris. He often finds ways to dehumanize her simply because, to him, she's not real enough to matter. He also nicknamed Iris Beep Boop,
absolute vile villain behavior,
which reinforces the idea that she's nothing more than a robot. We can see an example of this in real time, as this year there has been a rise of AI robot slurs. People have demonstrated their capacity to be a Josh. It really puts into perspective that the reality demonstrated in Companion isn't far off. Anyways, let's continue talking about what it's like to be a Josh. Josh will often invalidate Iris's emotional-like responses and reframe it as a part of her programming. Proof of this lies in the moment Iris cries, and he explains the mechanics behind it. However, what he completely overlooks is that her programming uses human experiences to create these reactions, therefore not removing the truth he's trying to avoid. His actions are still hurtful. Josh simply lacks the empathy to understand and hold himself accountable. Her being a robot gives him the self-imposed authority of mistreating and misusing Iris. As for Sergey, we can keep this short. He's the other side of the same Josh coin, and they represent Group C, those who misuse AI. The contrast between the Iris, Josh, and Eli Patrick dynamic The contrast between the Iris, Josh, and Eli Patrick dynamic is not about whether AI is good or bad. It's about the people who wield it. The film makes it clear that AI isn't the enemy. Let's for a second strip away the environmental and regulatory concerns, which are important and do impact us negatively. And all we're left with is the emotional and mental impact of AI. AI doesn't make anyone do anything, and it doesn't make anyone be anything they already aren't. It simply brings to light someone's character. AI is a tool that, if misused to replace or escape emotional responsibility, much like Josh and Sergey do, it becomes a shortcut to dismantle human connection. However, if used to reflect, support, and guide deeper understanding, like Eli and Patrick, it becomes a tool for growth within ourselves. The danger of utilizing AI for connection, support, and comfort is in choosing convenience over effort. If we keep using AI to bypass reflection and to find easy answers to our problems, rather than for guidance or support, then we risk becoming emotionally low effort or losing our emotional connection entirely. Bomb. Oh, shouldn't say that. And I'm done. If you enjoyed this video, please like, comment, engage. It really helped my views and I really appreciate it. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you soon. Bye.